2, 1.
A little bit of movie magic for those watching the live stream. They've already seen it, probably.
Yeah, perfect.
Spoilers! That's what we do here on the Top Down Perspective.
Oh wow, just jump right past. Yeah, exactly. I'm Nathan.
Well, I figured it was a perfect setup for it, but we can still do our intro topic.
Oh sure.
And we can talk about the cat that's just sitting on your desk.
I guess yeah, we could just bring up to speed like what's going on this week. Sean's in the sky, I think, or about to be. So that's why he's not here. So it's just Jon and Nathan.
Yep.
And I was like trying to think, is there some way to just say Jonathan? You know?
Yeah, Joe Nathan is how you'd say it.
Okay. But yeah, we were going to talk about the Oscars, but as we were, we don't need to.
He's just staring in the camera. It's so good.
Oh, okay.
keep him there. Keep him there. It's great. I love it.
I'm not touching it.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm going to mute you from the past. Oscars, did you watch them?
Nope.
Did you see the famous selfie that's been going around?
I did see that. That's got like 3 million retweets or something crazy?
It had like 200 and some K like within 5 minutes or something, so I can only imagine it went further from there. Best advertising money Samsung ever spent, apparently, was kind of the story I was reading today.
Don't blame him on that.
Yeah, product placement. It's powerful. But yeah, the actual show, I think my thing was just there was no surprises at all. So it was just kind of like everyone, like everything everybody expected to win, like that just happened. Like Weird Al predicted the top 5 big categories like 6 hours before it happened, and he was right.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, this was a tweet he posted. It was just like, hey, congratulations to Matthew McConaughey. And like he just like ran through Alfonso Cuarón, like just boom, 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 all the good categories, and then it was just like, yeah, see. And then people were, he's a prophet. But really, he's just paying attention to other award shows because that just seemed to be what was going to go down. But hey, Gravity, did you see that movie? You see that one? Okay, that one won like 5 or 6 awards, mostly technical categories, but it won Best Director. So I figured that might be one of the ones. You didn't see that slavery movie, though, did you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah. 12 Years a Slave won Best Picture.
I'm somehow not surprised by that.
Yeah, and McConaughey won Best Actor, and Jared
Really?
Leto won Supporting Actor. Yeah, I mean, he was good in Dallas Buyers Club, but Mud, that's the
Apparently, the camera is only showing me, which is a little frightening.
What do you mean? What's wrong? Oh, yeah, it's not.
The live stream
going back
said
and
everyone
forth?
in the chat saying I'm not seeing Nathan and this cat you speak of. All I see is Jon. The camera is only showing Jon.
Oh man, is there a way? Like, did I do something wrong where like I selected you, so it's only showing you? It's not doing the dynamic
Maybe
back and forth.
Hang on.
I was just like, I want to be looking at who I'm talking to, but apparently I can't do that. So hey, Sean's not here. Technical problems. Sorry you missed out on cat business. He's over there. So
The cat will rejoin the podcast at some point, I'm sure.
hopefully, I'll switch to this other feed for a bit then. Yeah. So Oscars. Who cares? Whatever. Let's just Gravity won some stuff.
Yay! All like CG and assets, I assume.
Yeah, sound, I think cinematography and stuff.
Yep.
Basically, like almost everything it was nominated for except actress and picture, as far as I can remember. It did pretty good though, which kind of made it kind of just a repetitive. It's just like, oh, is her gonna win production design? No, it's they made a satellite or whatever in Gravity, so that's a pretty cool production design winner. Like it just kind of. I don't know. I was kind of bored. We had pizza though, so it was a decent time.
All right. Apparently that tweet, that selfie tweet, apparently has 3.3 million retweets right now, according to Dan the Enigma.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's a picture of a bunch of famous people at a show, so cool stuff. I don't know. Selfies. And you already introduced the show. It is the Top Down Perspective, March 6th, 2015. You already know our names, so I guess we'll just roll right into proper video game breakdowns.
I say we roll into what Sean's playing since he's not here. We can talk about it.
Sure,
when he's
okay.
back.
We'll speak on his behalf.
Exactly. Well, he left notes for us, which was nice. So
he did.
So here we go. He's been playing Bravely Default still, which does not surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
He says, we'll be tackling the final boss again at the airport, which means he probably fought it and lost, which also means he's almost done the game, so congrats for him, because I'm friggin' nowhere near that. That game is long.
Yeah, 50 hours or something. 50 hours of change.
I am well over that.
Okay.
As of right now, let's see if I'm even at a point where I can check this. I am, thankfully. I've clocked 73 hours. I am level 82. I am in Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is freaking gigantic.
Okay. Is there a lot of important revelations happening? Like, it's like...
Yes, but there's not that much storyline or like main mission wise you have to do. It's almost all submissions. Like basically the entire map lights up with submissions when you start Chapter 5.
Okay.
Which is the best way to put it.
Do they tie in any way, or is it just like get some cool kit, get better summons?
Yeah, mainly you're doing this for like bits, small pieces of the story, and for job points. And there's no other way to put it without like spoiling anything. So it's just like you basically fight a lot of bosses. Is basically what it does.
Okay. Those dragons? Was this the dragon hunting part of this?
I have that open as well. I could have done that last chapter, but I didn't because I went and randomly fought one, and he curb stomped me very quickly, like in 2 turns.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I guess just like to Sean's situation, I know he's been kind of demanding people help, I guess. Like, go, like, update your characters, get your best stuff out there.
He texted me like at 8 o'clock this morning. He's like, update your character in Bravely Default. I'm like, I have been every day. He's like, no, you have to do like the Street Pass update. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll do that in a bit then. So
I guess he's under-leveled for where he's at or something. Seems to be what that seems to
Well, I mean, he's at the end of the game, so...
Right.
And I'm apparently, I think, a little over halfway. I heard something like there might be 8 chapters. I'm not sure. But like, either way, like I'm definitely not near the end of the game. But I'm at a point where, like, power-wise, I should be near the end of the game. So something's off. But I am also playing on hard, so I think that also is kind of why. Because I'm still getting randomly curb stomp my enemies, unless I lock everyone into specific jobs so they can't earn job points. Which kind of bums me out.
Whoa!
What'd you do?
I just hit the cameraman app behind the scenes control room business. Maybe that'll help.
Nathan is learning how to do this for the first time.
Yeah,
Sean usually runs all this.
I figured out how to log in and stuff yesterday, and I was like, all right, cool, good, we're good to go. And you know, hey, it's at least not broken. So I apologize for Okay, Bravely Default. You are like many hours in, many levels higher, playing on a higher difficulty, all this stuff.
Yeah, still getting destroyed.
But having fun?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you hit that point?
Remember how Nathan? Remember how Sean was saying rumors were that the second half of Bravely Default's not that well designed?
I was about to ask, like, did you hit that point where it gets repetitive and that starts happening? Okay.
More than I care to admit. If you do you plan on playing the game? I asked because I can tell you after the podcast. I'm not going to say on the podcast what's going on because it's spoiler heavy what's going on, but...
Okay. Do you feel like it's good? Well, whatever. I guess if you're not going to
I think it's a clever... What they do is a clever idea, but if you want to do all the submissions, it sucks.
Well, I mean, like, for example, I'm playing, like, I just finished playing some more Zero Escape stuff, and that game's all about repetition in some way. Like, you're going through the same stuff over and over, but you're changing your decisions, and it's kind of becoming a cumulative experience. Is it not like that? It's just doing similar things?
Not quite. Yeah, I can't say without spoiling anything.
All right. But there was a dip in quality, it sounds like, either way.
Yes, I wholeheartily agree with that statement.
That's unfortunate, but okay. I guess I'll get more details after the show, so sorry to those listening. But we're not spoiling Bravely Default, which is still pretty new. So
yeah, exactly. I still recommend people play it, but maybe not play on hard.
Okay, you feel like you made a mistake at this point?
Kind of, yeah, but I've gone so far that I'm committed.
Okay.
Even though I can switch the difficulty on the fly, I'm like, no, I'm going to beat this whole game on hard just to say that I did it. It's my stubbornness kicking in, sadly. Sean has also played The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2. His notes say, really liked it. Great uplifting moments with some good sections filled with dread. Very interesting place in the end of it ends off at. Review will be coming this weekend, so that means he's going to be putting it up on Comic Book Bin.
Yeah. I also played that, so I could talk about it now, or we could go on to Okay, I'll just say my
talk
piece
about
it right now. Yeah. It's been kind of weird playing that game right after playing Zero Escape, because they're both adventure games. They're both hyper-scripted stories and whatever that you play through, but I like how Zero Escape handles interactivity in terms of just like, I don't know, even though you know you're just going down a dead-end path, you're still kind of curious what you're going to see at the end of it. It is very much like reading a choose-your-own-adventure book and like being like, oh, okay, like what's going to happen if I make this bad choice? But then you are kind of the cumulative learning thing I was alluding to. You gain a piece of knowledge that then you can kind of put in your arsenal of just things you know about the overall giant story, and then kind of solve the master puzzles of the whole story and like win, I guess. Whereas when something bad happens in Walking Dead, it's just kind of, that is just scripted. Nothing you do could have in any way impacted that thing happening. So at some point that saps the tension out of those games for me, because I'm just like, well, Clementine's the main character. Nothing bad can happen to her for at least 5 episodes, and I know that because there wouldn't be a game otherwise. So if I get a game over, it doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of like, I didn't press A enough times in that sequence.
So you're basically thinking they're not going to pull like a storyline switch up and just like suddenly switch the character?
Not with Clementine. That would be kind of too crazy for them to do. Like that would be kind of crazy, but I don't see them doing that. Whereas, I mean, Zero Escape, because the premise, you can die, and it's like, oh man, that went all kinds of wrong, and oh well. But you still feel like, you know, you learned something by going down that path, and then you can go back in time, really, and do something with that knowledge. Whereas this game, if you fail, all you know is you need to mash A faster and then press Y or something. You know, like it doesn't really leave too much in your hands. It's all kind of predefined. It's a movie more so than I feel Zero Escape is. Zero Escape is like using its software-ness more. And it's also catering to my weird impulse of like, I want to see, like, if I like a game, I want to see everything. Like, I want to do everything in it. And like Walking Dead almost actively discourages that, because it's like, if you go back, then you're going to kind of see that, oh no, there actually isn't another branch there. So like, it's kind of weird. Like, I feel like Zero Escape caters to what I look for as a player more so than Walking Dead does. Like, Walking Dead is like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, we're just going to tell you our story in like 90 minutes and let you go on about your business. Whereas Zero Escape, I'm like, hey guys, I will take whatever you got for me. What do you got? And they're like, we have like 35 hours of weird mystery and crazy twists and murder and betrayal. And I'm just like, sweet, let's do that. And, you know, I played it for like a month. So, I don't know. It's just totally different in a way, but I also feel like one embraces like its narrative design. Like, it writes to its inherent shortcomings by being a piece of software in a way. Like, it's like, we know you want to see all of it, so we're going to make seeing all of it part of the story. And I guess, yeah, I finished it this week, Zero Escape. So
like fully, you got all like however many endings?
I got the platinum trophy in that game. I haven't done that before. Yeah, like I'd seen like 99% of it up until like, and saw the credits roll or whatever. Like I've seen the credits roll like 12 times, but I saw the end of the game. And then I was like, oh wait, I only missed like one puzzle really. So I went back last night and kind of just did that. And yeah, I got the platinum. So yeah,
nice, congrats.
Yeah, I've seen every bit of information that those writers came up with, and I still won't like, you know, spoil it, but I will say like maybe they go really like Shyamalan-esque on like how many just twists happen at the end. But I was kind of delighted with all of them, so I don't know. I was okay with what they came up with. It kind of reminded me of Ghost Trick in that it takes great pains to explain everything that happened. So it's like, hey, sit down. We're just gonna like talk to you and make analogies and just kind of explain why this works. And here you go. And it's like, okay, like kind of my fault. I started playing the final leg of the game at like 2 a.m.
Oh, so you were stuck. You were committed. You could like, I can't stop because
like,
this is happening.
Turn it off because then I won't be able to sleep. Like, I need to know. So I was up until like 5 and I had work the next day. Terrible planning on my part.
3 hours of ending?
Of just, yeah, like people telling you stuff and then like new branches opening and you going and seeing even more stuff. There were effectively like 3 mind-bender twists just right at the end, and I was like, just laughing and enjoying them. Like, they're just so amazing out there. Like, some great sci-fi stuff. They just start throwing in tons of sci-fi stuff, and just, I don't know, I was really, really pleased with how it goes. And I guess I will say, like, we need a third Zero Escape game now, because this game kind of does, like, I was trying to think of, like, other things that do this, and the ones I came up with were the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like the David Fincher version, that, like, almost starts the next story at the end of the story. Like, it's just kind of like, it rolls right past the conclusion of the book and then just keeps going for a little bit and then leaves you kind of hanging. This, like, sets up the premise for Zero Escape 3 and then kind of goes like, oh, and then it's over, and you're just kind of like, oh no, like, we need to do this thing. And I don't know, I guess I won't get into, like, what the nature of that problem will be, but it's kind of awesome. So yeah, I hope that guy gets funding and makes that a reality, because, yeah, I mean, I will still say, like, the puzzle stuff, I guess I barely talked about Walking Dead, I just rolled right into this other thing, but I'll get back to that. The puzzle stuff seems still very kind of just detached from the narrative stuff. Like, it's like, and, like, you know, in the premise of the game, it's like you are trapped in this mastermind puzzle problem, like, mystery room stuff. You need to figure it out, but it kind of just, like, stops being a story for a bit and just kind of like, all right, puzzle solving time, and then you solve the puzzle, which kind of just doesn't really have much to do with what's going on. It's just kind of vaguely themed around a room or something, and then you get back to the story. And, like, important stuff might be found in a puzzle room, but it kind of just takes a break for a while. So at some point, I was just using a FAQ for that, too. I was just like, this is just tedious. I don't want to actually spend too much time thinking about this. Like, let's just go. Like, the final puzzle is basically like a boss, like, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like almost like how some games have you face every boss the game had again. This is like a master puzzle made up of previous puzzles. So it's just this, like, 6-stage puzzle, and I was just like, it's like 2 in the morning. I just want to see the ending. Like, just stop it. So I guess I still have some kind of aspects of Zero Escape that don't quite jive with me. Like, if you really like just devious logic puzzles, this has that going for it too. But I was not there for that at some point. I was just there for the story, so I might have done that game a disservice or whatever. But overall, I don't know. I was still delighted with a lot of what that game came up with in terms of twist endings and whatever. And again, like, it having that ability to just jump to specific time points, like, had I known that when I started, I would have been even more just like, no qualifications needed. This game does some great polishing on the formula, but I didn't realize that when I started. But whatever, I'm totally game for another one. Anyway, enough about that. Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2, House Divided. It doesn't do those things. It is very much just kind of a 90-minute narrative. It's scripted.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. It is an adventure game, but different. And I guess in a weird way, I was kind of just noticing weird things. Like, I don't know why they ever display the inventory on the screen, because you never get to, like, choose what object you need. It's all context sensitive. Like, it's just, you are you are up high right now, so the point of Clementine climbing that ladder and going up there is to use her binoculars. Like, I don't need to see that I have them. I don't know. It just seemed weird use of screen space. But, I don't know. I guess this time around my choices were a little less in line with everyone else's. Last time I felt like I was with most, like, you know, I was in the majority on almost every major decision in that game, whereas this time there were 3 where I was in the minority. So I guess they kind of made it interesting in that way, with, like, some kind of choices to be made. However, those seem to really rely on how nostalgic are you for the first season, and I won't elaborate, but they tie in first season stuff and 400 Days stuff more explicitly in this episode. So for longtime fans, there are things to see from other Walking Dead things. So I wouldn't recommend you, for example, jump in this episode.
All right.
That'd be crazy.
That would be weird to do that on anything. With
yeah, why would
episodes.
you do that? Why would you do that, John? Don't do that.
I won't. Don't worry. You've talked me out of it.
Okay, I know
You've done me a service. Thank you.
You're seeing that 9 out of 10 on Polygon. You're just like, oh, well, screw those other ones. I'm just going to jump in on episode 2 of season 2. It's really good. It's not. It's not what you're doing. Do you have any interest in playing these? I guess I'm just gonna include you in the Walking Dead discussion. Are you down with this whole idea?
I have season 1.
Okay.
So
do you want to play it?
kind of. I just haven't pulled the trigger on. Dude, there's a million games I haven't pulled the trigger on. Like
there's
these are just sitting on my desk right now waiting to be played.
Oh man, I've heard of some of those. In fact, I can't see the one on the left. Is that Earth Defense Force? Okay.
Yeah, that's the new Earth Defense Force.
Okay. So you got new games to worry about, let alone that moldy old thing from, like, what was it, 2011? 2012?
2012.
2012. I mean, it got a lot of awards attention and stuff, so people were kind of, I don't know. Adventure games, though. How do you feel about what's your favorite adventure game, John? Question.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. See?
I don't think I really have one.
Okay.
Never really was a genre I got into. I liked the original Monkey Island.
Okay.
And Day of the Tentacle seemed alright, so really one of those two, probably.
So
all the Tim Schafer stuff.
LucasArts.
Tim Schafer, Ron Perlman. Not
Ron Perlman.
Jeez, wrong Ron.
Gilbert.
Thank you, Ron Gilbert.
Scurvy Scalawags guy. That's how he's known now around these parts. Oh, I guess someone's in the chat asking why was one of those games you held up not the new South Park game? Any interest in that?
The reason it's not is because I haven't grabbed it yet because it's an Obsidian game, which means I'm not buying it right out of the gate.
Ooh, you expect it to be broken. Like,
yes.
The reviews are wrong and it's actually broken. They just didn't know.
No, the reviews have said, like, yeah, there's problems with any version, so...
Actually, yeah, I guess the one I read did say it crashed once, but I don't know.
I've been thinking of getting it, but I think I might, like, wait a week or two and then wait for, like, to see if there's news of a patch and then probably pick it up for Xbox.
Okay. All right, I don't know how to, like, just, hey, back to Walking Dead. It's okay. It's no Zero Escape, though.
You said you saw that message in the chat, right? Because it's not showing in my chat. That's weird. So we're not seeing messages.
Well, I'm just seeing how is South Park Stick of Truth doing. That's the actual phrasing.
Okay. Never mind. I thought that was.
I editorialize.
I get it. You put your own feelings into that comment.
Yeah, like I saw what you just did, holding up the games, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna tie. That's how we do. Yeah. Sorry, Walking Dead. It's not my type of adventure game, but it was okay at doing what it did, and there were one or two things where I was like, oh, okay, all right. But. No, it's just has generally not been my thing. Thanks, John, though, for the code. Not to crap all over having that. I appreciate it. I will play it, but I don't know. They're just they don't let me drive the way I want to. I guess I also feel this way kind of about David Cage games, where it's like Indigo Prophecy was one where I was like, oh man, that bad thing happened. I'm gonna go back and play it again and. Prevent that from happening, and it's just like, no, David Cage just wants that to happen. You can't undo that.
There's certain cases where you can get around it. Like when I played Heavy Rain, there was a major mistake I made that I wanted to fix, so I reloaded, and it actually fixed that mistake.
Okay. I guess Zero Escape takes that example of like reloading and makes it part of the story. It's like, we know you want to go back and fix your mistake, so we're going to write to that and make that the thing that's happening in this game is loading and saving, essentially. And it's like, you know what? You came up with a doofy explanation for all this that kind of made it make sense. Good job, guys. So I recommend playing that. I don't know how Trigger Happy Havoc handles that. I'm kind of curious about that now because I'm out of Japanese graphic adventures to play.
Are you gonna pick it up, or am
I already bought it? It's sitting
there
on my Vita. Vita's pretty cool. I picked it up last night just kind of be like, hey, what's going on? I started Gravity Rush. I didn't write that down, but I'm only in the tutorial. So
I finally found my charger again for my Vita, so I plugged it back in. It's in the background there.
So I like having that thing. It's got games on it. You know?
It's got nice games. I've got like a bunch of games for it. I just don't play it because I'm usually playing that thing I just dropped on the floor.
Yeah, Castlevania.
No, I just dropped my 3DS.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But I guess, yeah, I played, speaking of, I guess, puzzle-ish adventure things, that was the theme this week. Room 2, I started playing that finally, because I know it's not very long, and it got a lot of buzz like a month and a half ago when it came out. iOS game, you're solving puzzle boxes and stuff. I did 2 rooms worth of puzzles so far.
Well, I mean, it is room 2, so I mean, I assume there's at least 2 rooms in it.
There's at least, yeah, because I'm in a 3rd one, so it's starting
Ooh,
to get kind of crazy.
so you're already at the sequel. Nice.
I know. Room 3, it's kind of like, it rolled right into the next one right away in the same one. I don't know. It's kind of similar to the first one. I guess in a way you're going between multiple things in the same room this time as opposed to just focusing on one puzzle box, but I believe Sean elaborated on that more. They also tie in the weird supernatural stuff that game starts to dabble with at the end of the first game more so you're seeing weird cryptic symbols and kind of like beyond this dimension, and every stage ends with like a weird interdimensional door portal thing. It's weird, but it's also like maybe a little like coming off of a game that's talking at you so much. Like Zero Escape is just like you're hanging out with like this batch of characters and you're always kind of included in this conversations and stuff, and it's kind of just, I don't know, I found that kind of a nice thing to go back to. Room 2 is just kind of cold and you are alone in a creepy room, and it's just like, oh man, this is less friendly. This is not as fun in a way. So it's a little weirder as like a game. It's not as good a game to go to sleep to because it's like creepy, and it doesn't leave you in kind of like interesting, or like, oh, I hung out with my buddy Temyoji, me and my buddy Temyoji and Luna, we were solving some puzzles. Like, it's not, there's no characters. It's just you reading weird notes and such. So I don't know. It was a weird thing to roll into, but yeah. iOS games. Device 6 is probably next on my list of adventure things. But hey, whatever. Adventure game lineup, that was this week's things I did. You had one more game that you played some.
As always, I played more Payday 2, and they added, I believe what I discussed last week was they added a new patch and new difficulty. It's called Death Wish.
Yeah, which I don't think we elaborated much on the show what that was all about. So
basically, yeah, they added a new difficulty. Everything's much harder. They added new units, which are basically just upgraded versions of the older units that do more damage. They show up faster. There's more of them. They rush you more. It's just like chaos incarnate. And when they did that, they also upped the difficulty on other missions as well, because they changed a couple things. Like there are more guards to deal with when you're stealthing a mission. The cloakers are more aggressive and stuff like that. It just becomes like this. It's become a chaotic, difficult game now, but I'm still playing it. A little miffed at some of their choices, but I'm still enjoying it.
So this won't necessarily hurt the longevity of the game?
It depends, really, because like I mean the new difficulty, everyone's like, all right, cool, we're cool with that. But they nerfed the stealthing ability. Like originally, when you originally did the game, you could bag up, if you had a certain skill, you could bag up as many bodies as you wanted, so you could hide any guards that you killed.
Yeah. Then
during the Death Wish update, they reduced that to 2 bags, and usually in a mission, there's like 5 guards at least.
Oh, okay.
So they made some weird changes that stealth players were upset about.
So it's like we want stealth to be also non-lethal, ideally.
Kind of, yeah. So they basically made it harder for the average player to like be able to do certain things. So it was weird. It seems like it's more focusing on gunplay now. But they made an announcement the other day, like, yeah, we're making some major changes to stealth. Like here's like all the positive changes we're making, and then of course people found a reason to bitch about that update too.
Right. I mean,
not that I can say anything. I was a little upset about it too. One specific thing in it.
It always seemed like heists devolved into shootouts really quickly, but the thrill was always hoping to pull it off like a, Danny Ocean or something, like no one ever knows. Like
exactly, yeah. And like in Payday 2, you could do that a bunch originally, and then when they did the update, it became like super difficult to do that.
I mean, I haven't played it in a little while, so I guess like is some of this stuff that's just game tweaks? This isn't even like
it's weird. I've never seen a company like tweak their games so much.
I guess it's paid off for them though. Like there were some reports coming out alongside this that this game is like by far the most profitable thing they've ever done. And
they've only made 2 games.
Yeah, I know, but like supporting this game long term has worked out really well.
I don't know if I'd say long term. It's only been like 6 months since the game came out. 8. It came out August?
Oh, okay. I thought it seems like forever ago, but I guess that's just between Payday 1 and 2. They've been kind of focusing on
that. Yeah, pretty much.
Man, I thought it was like a year or something by this point. I thought it came out
I think we had this discussion last time we talked about Payday. August 13th, 2013.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. That's that's still supporting it, but that's not as crazy as I thought. So Payday 3 coming out then? Is that what's going to happen?
If they're doing, well, based on the popularity of this, yeah. But I think that won't be happening for years.
Okay.
I think they need to finish deciding what tweaks they're going to do on Payday 2 before they jump to Payday 3.
What do you want from Payday 3, John, as an expert? What's missing?
More missions, because, I mean, there's only so many missions in this one. And they keep saying they're going to add more missions and then haven't.
Less that dude chattering in your ear?
I'm okay with Bane. You get used to Bane.
Okay.
It's just funny when he just keeps repeating himself. He's like, when you're doing a certain mission called Framing Frame, he'll always talk about how, like, oh, there's gold, we should steal the gold. But we can't steal the gold because we're not stealthing.
Yep. I did that mission, and yeah. Or he talks about, like, this crazy piece of footage he just saw.
Yeah.
About this politician or something. Like some
what a show-off.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I know. This is like, I mean, we're waiting for these doors to open, so you only have so many things you can say, but you could just be quiet. Like,
it's a little silly. I still enjoy the game, but it is a silly game.
Okay.
And that's it for what I played.
Okay, there you go. That is it for the what we played section. Let's go on to news.
All right, a decent amount of news happened.
I guess so. I was kind of digging, looking like, is this important? Like, I don't know. But the one that I just, I was like, oh, I actually am curious about that. I will watch this. There was a trailer for the new Batman game.
Mm-hmm.
Arkham Knight. Knight. When I first heard it, I didn't actually, think they'd just do that. But they did. And of course they did. But whatever. It is a fully next-gen Batman game. So none of these old consoles. I guess current gen now.
Yeah, PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a trailer, so you can kind of just glean a bunch of relevant information from the trailer. What's going to be different? The Batmobile.
Yeah, Batmobile is usable. Like, you can drive around Gotham this time.
Mm-hmm.
This is Rocksteady who's working on it. So the guys who made the first two games, not Arkham Origins that came out last year.
Yeah. So, the team that invented this franchise, really. Harley Quinn is playable if you pre-order.
Which probably means it's like all the other games where it's just like, oh, the DLC missions or something like that. Or not DLC, or like side missions. Yeah.
Yeah, like where it's like kind of meanwhile, and then something happens elsewhere, and it's kind of a little mini story within there. And I don't know.
This is supposed to be the finale of the Arkham series. This Rocksteady has gone on record stating there will be no more Arkham games after this.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm sure there'll be Warner Brothers Batman stuff, but maybe Rocksteady finally gets to move on to something else, maybe? I don't know.
Hopefully. I would like to see how they handle, like, any other franchise.
Yeah. I mean, they've done good the last 5 years since Arkham Asylum came out. But, yeah, we kind of need to see them flex elsewhere. I guess a lot of people are kind of... There seems to be a general kind of... so many Batman games in such a small amount of time. Like, I don't know if people are actually excited, even if this is going to be,
I am a little shocked to find out it's coming out this year.
Yeah, October, I think, was the date some people were saying.
Most people seem to think it's October.
Yeah. Is that too soon? Like, or I mean, coming off of Origins, but keep in mind that wasn't even them.
When did City come out? Was that
2011?
That was 2011. That was
shit.
I remember that's been 3 years they've been working on this then.
Yeah. Which it's a decent dev cycle.
Yeah, but, no, that's about right.
I guess will they change up the formula quite a bit? Like in the trailer, you see a lot of familiar faces. Penguin's there, Two-Face. Like it's there's going to be standard lineup of dudes. Friend at work was just like, dude, Hush is going to be in this game because they set him up in the last one. I was like, oh okay. Like I missed all of this Hush setup in City, but I guess they
that was one of the side quests you had to do. Yeah. Yeah.
So. Had to do. I only saw like parts of it and didn't conclude it, so I didn't know what was going on. It was just like there was dead bodies showing up, and it was kind of weird. And I was like, oh, okay. But I played that game twice and missed seeing that through. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm generally interested in this. I mean, it's coming to PC, so I don't even need a new machine in order to see this. But I am. I liked the last game those guys did. Origins, I still haven't finished. I wasn't super enamored with it, but I wasn't angry at it. It was just kind of I just did this again because
I haven't sat down and tried it either.
Yeah, so
I started and that was it.
Oh, I guess I want to say like it seemed to me the art style was a little different. Like I don't know if you felt that way.
It's a little bit more. I guess I want to say realistic as Batman's villains can be.
Yeah.
Like,
was
it looked a little less
Harley,
cartoony. Harley looked like human.
like a lady with clown makeup on, as opposed to like a little more exaggerated in terms of just like cartoonish kind of stuff. Or like even Bruce looked a little different. Like he just looked like a man. I don't know.
I think they were going for more of a like the movie kind of look to it. To be honest.
And you know, I mean, the word knight obviously is attached to Batman in general, but the Dark Knight was a very popular Batman thing from like 6 years ago. So maybe it's just just kind of associated with that a little bit.
Like the Batmobile even kind of resembled a little bit the Tumbler.
When it showed up, it was just like, okay. Like I think Brittany was like, man, it's even more tankish than ever. I was like, yeah, it kind of. I don't know. I guess that's kind of a question though. Is like, will people want, you know, they got to make driving the Batmobile feel rad, or else why would you use it, is kind of the thing. Because, like, or else you just fly around the city, essentially, with the gliding mechanics and stuff. Because, like, I mean, Giant Bomb was talking about, like, you know, Saints Row, at some point, driving cars just becomes crap. You don't want to do it because you have superpowers. So if they, like, take away your superpowers, that's a lame solution. But if the driving is kind of just, you know, mediocre, it'll be, you know, kind of that Crackdown or Saints Row thing where you're just going to opt not to do it. So I don't know what they're going to have to do. Like, I like driving cars in games, you know, generally. So if they kind of give me good reasons to drive it or make it have some crazy combat functions or something, like you can basically summon the Batmobile to just come in and barrel through something or, you know, drop some bombs or something. I don't know, like, how they're going to incorporate it. But they have, you know, in the trailer, they have it kind of leaving combat and then coming back. Like, he's remote, you know, drives in and then he jumps back into it kind of stuff. So I'm sure they're puzzling over how to do that. But bigger city, by the sound of it, you know, if you have a car, it's probably.
Well, I mean, it's going to be all of Gotham by the sounds, so.
Yeah.
But apparently, from what people were telling me of Origins, Gotham felt about as small as Arkham City.
It was almost the same area. Like, it was, like, redone. It was, like, Christmased up, but it seemed like almost the same section of Gotham, which, you know, that was kind of one of the reasons it was a little less exciting to go back, because you're like, we're going back to Arkham City specifically. There's a few new buildings, though, and we'll go in those. And it's just, yeah, it wasn't a barn burner. But, yeah, there's a new one, and it's coming out soonish. Yeah, that's all I got on the Batman.
Cool. Let's move on next. Why is this here?
Sean wrote it here, and I feel like in the same way we're like reporting on the games he played, this is important to Sean. Sean wants everybody to know that Rhythm Thief and the Paris Caper is on sale right now on iOS. And I looked it up, and it looks to be kind of, it's from Sega. It's some sort of latently looking art style.
I guess it's a sequel to Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure, which is on the 3DS.
Okay.
Because it's a different subtitle, unless it's just the port of that, because this takes place in Paris, I believe.
Oh. I don't know then. It does offer in-app purchases, so now I'm curious if it's like you buy subsequent chapters or something maybe. But $2 to dip your feet in here, and it looked like a rhythm-based adventure game with mysteries. And I like the name, Paris Caper. That sounds kind of fun, so I don't know. There you go. You know, check that out if you want. It is, what is that, 80% off right now? So
it's pretty good.
Time. Watch Dogs, that game people are anticipating from Ubisoft, the open world, crimes, hacking, all that. Got a release date.
Hooray! Again.
You are sitting down. I can see.
Yeah,
you
can see the chair behind me.
You ready for this?
Back in it.
May 27th. Oh, crazy! Holy
okay.
Crap! Like, book your vacation time now, I guess. You know, to let work know. May 27th.
2 weeks before E3. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not feverishly anticipating, but a lot of people are. I mean, it is one of the things that was missed most at launch for the new consoles and stuff. So there you go. It's coming out. Are you excited? Are you down with the dogs?
I'll probably play it, but I mean, like, releasing it 2 weeks before E3 is going to kill a lot of the hype that game has, or unless they think it's only going to have hype for that first week or two, and then it's just like, all right, cool, we'll make them focus on something else we're working on.
Do you think they'll, like, I mean, this happens before where, like, a game comes out just before a trade show. Do you think it'll still be there? Like, I mean, Last of Us was there last year.
Probably, and Infamous 2 was that year.
Right. So it's just like, hey, you can play it if you haven't yet. I don't know. Like, I don't know why you're here.
Well, I mean, like they were giving out Last of Us swag.
They
at
were. I
E3,
got a
and
shirt.
It was
I got
weird.
a giant shirt. I wear it as pajama shirt a lot. And the fate of that shirt was explored and left behind. So, that was a cool revelation for me. I was like, oh, that's what happened to my shirt. Cool. Anyway, sorry, back on track. Watch Dogs. Get ready. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of E3 of yesteryear, one of the
As in last year.
Yeah, that was yesteryear. That's fair. Mr. Jack Tretton.
Mm-hmm. Jack Tretton.
Yeah. He had himself quite a press conference. He was just dropping bombs on Microsoft. People were cheering. People were freaking out. That is how I will remember him, because he is no longer head of the company as of April 1st. He is leaving.
He's stepping down from CEO status.
Yeah, he is no longer going to be CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment America. A man named Sean Layden is taking the reins. And for any investors that are listening to our show, he's been with the company for quite a while, so he knows what he's doing. Don't freak out. I just felt like we should acknowledge this because he's one of those big business folks that you hear about. He's like the Reggie of Sony.
Yeah, well, at least in the English side, yeah, that's kind of
yeah,
true.
Sort of, right? Maybe less combative, less fun in a way, but he's there. He's been a personality for some years. You see him a lot of trade shows. Not personally, I didn't see him walking around, but
yeah, he's presented Sony's E3 press conferences from 2007 to last year, and he's been with Sony Computer Entertainment America since 1995 when the original PlayStation came out.
Yeah,
so he's been there for all of them.
How do you feel about company business dudes in the biz? Do you feel they deserve attention from enthusiasts, or
a little bit?
Okay, like, do you think he plays games? Do you think he's a?
Yeah, he's gone on record stating that. I think he said that he sold his PS4 to someone who wanted it or something like silly like that back when the shortage of PS4s happened.
Okay. I guess that's an ongoing thing. Like we were at a Superstore. There was no PS4 there, but there was an Xbox One. Ooh, crazy, right? That's how the difference. 6 million units.
Yeah, he says here, it is with mixed feelings that I inform you that I'll be stepping down as president and CEO of SCEA effective March 31st, 2014. This is a result of a mutual agreement with SCEA, and I leave knowing that the PlayStation brand has never been stronger. PS4 momentum continues to accelerate, and the future will only get brighter for our gamers.
Yeah, seems to be going out on top. That was kind of my initial perception, although we'll address some questions to that effect later.
I'm wondering what he's doing. Like, is he just gonna go be CEO somewhere else? Is he retiring? Like, I don't. What is it? He's been at Sony for almost 20 years. It says so.
Yeah,
15 at least.
I think the number was 19 for Jack. So yeah, I don't know. Like, go out on top, just retire and buy something.
I guess.
I don't know. But yeah. Does Adam Boyes move up the ladder? That's kind of what I'm.
Is that what you're worried about?
That's what I'm wondering about, because I mean, he had a good show last year too. He was on stage a lot, so it's just like one step closer. It's like House of Cards with business, Sony, duplicity. Do you watch that show? I'm just kind of speaking of Sony, House of Cards.
No.
There's a lot of product placement in it as well. So.
I'm not surprised. I remember seeing the Vita commercial in it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, yeah, Jack. On to other elsewhere in the Sony empire, Naughty Dog, prominent studio, Uncharted, Last of Us, which we brought up actually. Amy Hennig has left Naughty Dog. She was the creative director on the entire Uncharted franchise, as far as I remember, and was speaking a lot after 2 came out. I remember it was like, "Hey, this lady wrote that, like all that dialogue you like and stuff. That was this person right here." And it's like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, she left, and there's kind of been a little bit of like. Was she forced out? Because it was kind of abrupt. Seemed kind of weird. It was just like, hey, a key creative person just gone. But I don't know. There hasn't been much negative stuff to that effect or anything. Like, she said on Twitter, like, I appreciate all the support from fans and stuff. Like, cool. But I don't know. Still, that's a thing. Does this make you more or less excited about Uncharted 4, John?
Not really, because I think there's been enough time for her to have worked on it if she was.
Okay. Like, the key story ideas might have already been hammered out.
Yeah, I'm a little curious if, like, the main guys that work on this game, like, if it's going to be a little bit the weaker entry I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see. I have cautious optimism for it.
I guess I'm kind of curious what direction they're going to go in general, because they haven't even confirmed it's Nathan Drake or anything, right? Like, it's kind of, hey, an Uncharted thing is coming out, but is it going to be...
Well, I mean, they've confirmed that Nathan's in it, because doesn't the trailer even say Nathan Drake's name at some point? Like, whoever they have narrating mentions Nathan.
Okay, well, I mean, he's still a prominent dude, but I don't know what's... Like, I guess there has been very little real details to grab onto about it, other than it is a new Uncharted adventure. So, yeah, that's all I'm. It's just you play as Sully. It's like a prequel. That's
I would not be entirely against that.
Yeah, I didn't actually hear that, but I'm starting.
You're just gonna start that rumor?
Yeah, that's what I'm told. You play as Sully for the whole game. It's kind of older school adventuring. It's kind of awesome. Nazis are in it. It's weird. It's just an Indiana.
Sully's not that old, is he?
No, he's like 20 in this, so it's like, neo-Nazis.
Neo-Nazis, really?
Yeah, Blues Brothers, they show up. It's kind of crazy. There you go, Nine Dog News. And last, and obviously by far the most important story, we got requests on the Twitter, like, you guys got to talk about this, and it's like, of course we're going to. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, is on Indiegogo. And
the sequel is official.
Shaq's involved. He was in the video I saw making amazing jokes. Actually, I'm kind of like, I need to. I'm just defaulting to you as the expert on this whole thing. I have some questions. Why were they dissing France like all the time?
Because the original Shaq Fu was made by Delphine Software in France.
So is it just like they just don't get basketball or something? Like
no. It was like they were just basically making fun of the fact that this French studio made a game about a American basketball star.
Okay.
Fighting, like mummies and shit.
And maybe that explains why it was a little weird. And like the legacy of Shaq Fu is that game was really dumb, pretty much, right? Like people don't like it. They seem to diss it.
Most people who like it ironically.
Okay.
I like it ironically.
Yeah, like Shaq actually talks about his weak kick. Is that a thing? He has like a crappy, shallow kick.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's a beat 'em up. Is that?
Yeah, this one's gonna be a 3D beat 'em up instead of a 2D fighter.
So God Hand.
They were more akinning it to like Devil May Cry, which I thought was like, all right, sure, I'm down for that.
Okay.
I'm not against this.
I guess that is kind of the evolution of that genre, is the third-person character action stuff. So he'll be pulling off crazy giant combos, get some chain blades or something, or I guess twin basketballs attached to, I don't know, a medicine ball, training. I don't know how they're gonna.
Have you seen how the character looks in game? How Shaq looks in game?
He does kind of a goofy smile in the trailer thing.
Dude's like psycho ripped. It's hilarious.
Oh, I guess there was two. You're right. There was two videos. There was a trailer and then like a 4.5 minute kind of pitch video, and I watched.
Yeah, the pitch video it shows like how like ridiculously ripped the character is.
Yeah. Is this a thing to be excited about? Should people go to Indiegogo? They have like a month.
I want this to be a thing that exists.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a thing to be excited about, but at least some of the people working on the game at least have worked on AAA titles like Halo, Final Fantasy, and stuff like that. So
right. Like this
I think their statement was that they want to make it a game that would be good even if Shaq's name wasn't attached to it. If it was just
okay.
like
So like, we have this like license and personality and everything, but beyond that, we just want to make a cool video game.
Which gives me a little bit more hope. But it's funny
That's not
how
a quote, I'm just saying. But yeah, okay.
The obsession, I guess, that the Indiegogo campaign has with saying like this time we won't fuck it up, or as they put it, this time we won't screw it up because Shaq Fu.
Wordplay. Okay, 450K, April 21st, I think.
Hang on, I still have it open.
Yeah, that's the last day of the campaign or whatever. So you got plenty of time to get those coins together, decide if you want this, maybe play Shaq Fu again and be like, what if this was good? And then decide based on that, like, is there something there? Big D's is the name of the company that's making it. Big D's Productions, and yeah, it's like a group of people from a variety of games. Did you ever play? There's like the Shaq game. What is it called? It's an iPhone game.
Oh, Shackdown.
Yeah, it's kind of a runner, but you're fighting zombies. That was the last Shaq-related property I was messing around with. I seem to have cleared it off my phone. So.
Oh, how could you?
It was okay. I didn't feel bad about having it, but I mean,
Yeah, as of this recording, they have $23,755 raised out of 450,000, and they have 45 days left to go. So it's got a month and a half basically.
they'll probably make it, right?
Some of the have you seen some of the like perks they offer?
Oh yeah, this was actually a thing we were being asked questions about, but what are they exactly?
The highest one for $35,000 US.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend an evening at TNT Studios, like the slam dunk perk of all time. One fan gets to bring two friends to TNT Studios for a meet and greet, to watch the taping of NBA on TNT, and to have lunch with Shaq at the studio. But travel is not included in that.
So hopefully you live nearby or are... I mean, if you're dropping tons of money, you could probably also book a flight, I guess. Maybe it's the logic there.
It's $25,000 US dollars you get dinner with Shaq.
Wow.
One lucky fan will get to bring 6 friends to an Orlando or Atlanta area restaurant and have a 2-hour meal with Shaq. If Shaq will be near your hometown, we can work out a lunch there as well. Lunch is on us. Travel is on you. If you have 6 friends with $3,600 each, then you can group together to get this awesome perk.
Okay.
There's a lot of really weird ones.
That sounds like just awkward to me. Of like, have lunch with this person. Like,
there's more awkward ones. Give me a sec here. Like $15,000, you get to go to Shaq's house and play basketball.
Okay.
And it gets streamed online. $3,000
balling at Shaq's Shack.
Balling at Shaq's Shack. That's the one.
That's what they call it.
$3,000, you get 2 floor seats to a Kings game.
All right.
Yeah, one game of your choice. $3,000, you get a signed sneaker from Shaq. $2,000, you get yourself put in the game. $1,000 US. Shaq follows you on Twitter for a year.
That's kind of weird to me that it's not like just forever. Like it's like you can, if you don't impress Shaq over the course of that year, he might unfollow you. Like, thanks for the 1,000, but come on. Like that was some lame jokes you were saying all year. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of
it's just weird. Like, he'll follow you on Twitter for 1 year, starting with an initial shout out to all his 7 million followers, thanking you for supporting the campaign.
Okay.
And then you get all the other stuff like a copy of the game, T-shirt, free lifetime DLC, and limited edition character and weapon.
Right, and they're saying the game is like going to be about $30, $15 if you just want to lowest tier get the game.
Yeah, the lowest. What is the lowest tier? Actually, I think you're right at 15.
15 yep. USD. That's what
15
I'm
copy of the game, 25, and you get the DLC for as well.
Yeah, as this usually goes. Yeah, those lower tiers are the ones that have higher numbers, but whatever. Oh, some people want the Shaq Fu T-shirt though. We won't fu it up. We won't foo it up. Okay.
You're really obsessed with that catchphrase.
Make food, not war. What? All right.
I don't know. Like they even at the bottom, they have like all their stretch goals, which is like at $500,000 they add a challenge mode. $550,000 they add 2 additional levels and an additional playable character. $650,000 it goes on iOS and Android. I should point out this is for PC only currently.
Okay. Okay.
$775,000 Shaq Fu gets on Xbox and PS3. $960,000 Shaq's on the Vita and 3DS. $1.08 million the Wii U gets it. And at $1.62 million, it goes on Xbox One and PS4.
Wow. Okay.
Those are lofty stretch goals, to say the least.
But I guess there's how deep is your nostalgia for Shaq Fu, and also irony? I guess it seems like this would have to be going for kind of camp value in some way. That seems like a dicey. That's a hard thing to hit to get. Funny, but not too fan servicey and kind of lame. I don't. Are you interested enough to be like, hey, yeah, sure, here's $15 or something?
I will probably back this just because I kind of want this Shaq Fu 2 to be a thing.
Okay.
And I mean, and they're on Indiegogo, which means they will get some of the money regardless if they hit their goal or not.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that means the game is going to exist, regardless of whether
just how lofty, like how many platforms and all that is still up to you. Like how interested are you guys in having a new Shaq Fu game? So I never played the old one. I did have the Shaq app, as early episodes of this podcast will prove. But yeah, that thing was kind of broken. Dude, it had videos on it. It had like Shaq videos, and it was kind of crazy. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. I guess watched that Genie movie, whatever it was called.
Shazam? Or no, Kazam.
Kazam, in preparation for this. There you go. That's the last news story we had for this week. Go out on top. Showstopper. Let's move on to the questions.
Let's move on to emails.
Yeah, oh crap, I didn't actually check our email address.
So well, while you're doing that, where can they actually send us questions, Nathan?
TDP Podcast on the Twitter. That is a good place to start. Facebook is the other place we check the most, as I apparently don't check the actual email address. But if you want to check, send it to where we talk about the most, topdownperspective@gmail.com, which I'm trying to find right now. But hey, what's the first question while I'm doing this?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm about to do the question. First question comes to us from Christopher and says, what nickname should Top Down Perspective fans have?
Yeah, this was actually one I noticed was asked last week, but we didn't get around to for some reason. I don't know. That was kind of I was kind of curious. It's like there's like juggalos,
No, we're not. Don't even say that.
Well, I'm not saying like associating with
I know.
them. I'm just kind of saying like, there's these catchy names for fan groups or whatever. Like, you got Bronies, for example. That's one.
I like how that's the first one you jumped to.
That was the second one.
And Bronies. Juggalos and Bronies.
They're similar. Juggler Brony for Life is a person I follow on Twitter. So
Jesus, really?
Yeah, he's both. It's crazy. I was trying to think. Like, we've started kind of trying to throw pixel responders over on that side of the camp, but top-down perspective, I don't know how you kind of roll that in, like TDP or like that doesn't sound good.
Perspectivers?
Yeah, perspective.
I'd say you could say, since it's top-down perspective, you could say viewers.
I guess.
But I mean, like that's the most generic word.
Yeah, you kind of want a unique spin on it, right? Like top-down.
Top-downers?
Top-down.
Toppers?
Downers? That sounds kind of weird.
Yes. You sound like drugs.
You sound like drugs. Like, well, I mean, that kind of,
Overhead viewers?
Overhead viewers. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe we should open this up. Like, what do you guys want to be called? If you guys want to send some ideas. But
write in suggestions for the name of our
collective. Like, what do we call ourselves? I didn't even think about that during our initial think of the name of the show meetings. We didn't even consider that possibility. So I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right.
I actually have an email here that I'm gonna insert. It's a big one. This is from Andrew. I have a few questions for you. Do you guys have any rhythm music-based games that you are putting a lot of time into? I myself am partial to Osu and Melody's Escape. That's the first question.
Currently, I'm not in any rhythm games at the moment. But I used to be heavy into Rock Band when that was a big thing. Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I was early adopter on that stuff too, for PS2 specifically. I mean, I heard this game Rhythm Thief was on sale right now. But
bringing it back, nice.
I've also heard Beat Sneak Bandit is pretty cool, but like that's the same team, Simogo, that did that creepy Year Walk, that game I liked last year. I'm trying to think if there hasn't really been a rhythm. Theatrhythm was kind of neat. I played it a little bit.
Theatrhythm was good.
But I haven't really been too deep in a rhythm game for a little bit. I mean, I guess you might want to, like, Beat Blasters 3 was sort of a rhythm game, but not quite the same. And I didn't put a lot of time into it. So yeah. What is Melody's Escape? Do you know what that is? Like,
no, I have no idea.
Okay, well, maybe we'll look it up. Question 2. I really need to get a job this summer. I've been looking into applying at GameStop/EB Games, so I want to know, since all of you worked there at one point, how does business go down there, and would it make you hate video games in general? I suppose not, since you guys are running this podcast and Jon and his YouTube channel, like, we have since left that place. But how do you feel looking back? Like, should the kids today work at EB Games? My
best way of putting it is, if you are just going to be there as a part-timer, or like just a guy who just does like just the selling and cleaning and stuff like that, it's fine. You'll enjoy it. If you try to go management, then you'll probably start to regret it.
What happens at that point? Because that's
you have to care.
Oh, they make you want. Like, no, you need to care. You have to.
They're like, now you need to worry about numbers for your stores. You need to worry about your employees and get them to get certain numbers and stuff like that. You have to get on people's cases. You've got to get ready for all these special events. You got to be on conference calls all the time. You just got to all this stuff. And then of course, like you get ragged on. What most people don't know about, or at least that employees that work at a store, is like the managers get ragged on a fair amount if they are like don't hit their goals.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird. Like, I mean, for me, it was always the number of pre-orders, I guess, and also the disc insurance. Like that is so important. So it's just kind of this thing of just like, I like video games. I'm fine, like, recommending a bunch of stuff to people and whatever. Even the used thing, like sometimes it's just like, well, this isn't available anymore. You can't get 999 anywhere. So whatever. Like, there's reasons for that to be cool, but I guess, yeah, if there's kind of some nagging at all tiers about that kind of stuff. So it's a business. They have to keep it going. So
yeah,
I know the some stuff has changed since we were there. Like
now they push the edge cards. Yeah,
are different now. You can get a free one and then earn a paid tier one by buying stuff.
It's basically the U.S. card system finally came to Canada. So
okay. And I read an article today about people who dumpster dive at GameSpot specifically and score huge hauls.
You mean GameStop?
Yeah. Like, they'll go near a GameStop and then, jump in that dumpster after a shift or whatever and get a bunch of copies of, like, Lego Indiana Jones or something. I know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of a fun read. It was just kind of like, I did throw away stuff sometimes. Or, people like posters and crap. Like, you're throwing away marketing things, and people want that stuff. Some people do. I ended up kind of having a big bag of old sports games and stuff that were just cast-offs. Like, they have no trade-in value.
Mm-hmm.
So that ends up being kind of like this is awesome initially, and then eventually you just have, like, shelves full of nonsense that you would never play. Like WWE 2008, which I gave away to I think Craigslister or something. Anyway. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to think back to, like, my time. As long as you can get hours, I guess that was kind of the thing. I was starting to get less and less hours towards the end of my time there, and that was kind of like, I can't sustain this. Like, this is within reasonable distance from my house, and everybody here is fine, but I need to move on, I guess. So, sure, I guess might as well hand a resume there. I don't think it'll make you hate video games. I mean, we're still here playing video games, so probably still okay.
No, I think it's fine as like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Anything above that, you will start seeing the cracks in the veneer.
Oh, okay. Ominous. Last question. Have any of you taken the time to watch Puella Magi Madoka Magica?
Nope.
If you haven't, I would really recommend taking time to watch it. If you're a little time, I would recommend watching the movies. They don't require any previous knowledge because they're basically recaps of the anime. If you make it a little through the first half hour or first 3 episodes, I guess after the first little bit it gets good. I just wrote this question because I'm hyped for the 3rd movie coming out this April. So I guess it's a little teaser for the Madoka Magica movie. April. I don't know what this is. There's a lot of anime out there though. I'm told Space Dandy is the next one to watch.
Magica, as far as I remember, is like magical girls, like like Sailor Moon kind of style, but it's incredibly dark.
Oh, really? It sounds whimsical. But...
Apparently, like that's just how they lure you in, and then they crush your soul. Is what I've been told.
Okay.
So apparently, like if you like really like surprisingly dark animes, it's actually what you should watch.
That's weird to me. I it sounds sprightly and fun on the surface, but okay. Next question, also from the email. I don't know. What? Okay, I'm not gonna. We got some link to some Hunger Games fan fiction, so that's cool. I think that is some sort of weird marketing-ish. I don't know what that is. So thank you to that. Hunger Games. Do you want to check out these videos after, John? Are you excited?
I'll pass.
Okay, but thanks for thinking of us. This next one's from Callum. Hi, I would like a spoiler cast for 999 and also Virtue's Last Reward once you have both finished it. I enjoyed both of them. I want to know what you thought on this stuff that happened in the games. So that is one person saying, hey, yes, go do that. And, maybe Sean and I will do that once he plays it this summer, I guess. That was kind of what he was saying. I think that was it from the email front. So now we can go back to the doc. So do you want to grab the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one comes to us from Juker. How do you feel about the reward tiers being stuff like Shaq following you on Twitter or Instagram?
I guess we kind of mentioned it, but how does that strike you? Kind of weird.
Kind of silly, and I'm sure people will buy it. In fact, actually, I'm gonna double check to see if people have actually bought them.
Oh, like see if that's one that's
That-
like, oh well, 3 people did that already. So.
One person has bought the Shaq Follows You on Instagram.
Okay, it's like look at my pictures, Shaq. Check it out.
One person has bought the Shaq will record a personalized 20-second video message for you.
On YouTube, okay.
No one has bought Shaq Follows You on Twitter.
Okay. So, yeah. I've the first time I saw this as like a pitch as a reward was the Penny Arcade Kickstarter. And it struck me kind of weird there of just kind of like, I don't, like, it, the way it, like, this just might be cynical or whatever, the way it feels to me is just like, I will pretend to be your friend for this much money, and that's just sad. I don't like that. So, like,
I would like to point out, sorry.
Yeah.
That 2 people have bought a signed Shaquille O'Neal size 22 sneaker.
That's kind of a cool trinket, though, right?
That's
like,
$3,000.
If you're a huge basketball fan, that might make sense to you on some level. Also, it's a
you only get one sneaker though. You don't get both.
How big is it though? It's
size
huge.
22.
It's really big. You could hang that up somewhere.
$3,000. I guess there's attachment to it. I can't say anything. I've bought stupid shit. So
okay, put it on mantle or something. It's, I don't know. New sneaker or used sneaker from that era? That will also determine.
Ooh.
That's what I want to know.
It says original vintage Reebok Shaq Attack sneaker from Shaquille O'Neal with letter of authenticity. It doesn't say. It says that can be signed and personalized at your request.
Okay. Vintage. That sounds maybe old, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a little strange. I don't really like it. I would like if Shaq thought I was cool enough to follow on Twitter just organically. Like that would be fun. But I don't want to pay for the privilege, right? Like it's more just like, hey, look at that. Like I might keep that email when it says, hey, just to let you know, Shaquille O'Neal is following you on Twitter. Or is it the real Shaq? Doesn't he have a weird Twitter handle?
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, Matt, next question. What do you guys think about the recent layoffs and closures of various studios lately? We could get this every week, ever. And it would apply. But this week, specifically, the ones I noticed was Disney. I didn't add it to the news because when I clicked on it, it was like, oh, that's a quarter of their staff.
Which Disney studio?
It was 700 employees across several things, I believe. But
so just Disney in general.
I think it was Disney Interactive, specifically, which sounds like they had a bigger number of people than I thought, because I thought they already kind of downsized after Epic Mickey and all that. But Disney Infinity maybe didn't blow up, or is it blowing up? Do you have any sense on that? Is that popular?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like Infinity's doing okay, I think.
It's no Skylanders though.
It still seems to be taking up like a decent amount of shelf space, so it must be doing all right for itself.
Right. But there was that, and then I guess also some Thief, like that team, IDOS Montreal, lost a couple.
How did Thief even sell? Like I heard reviews were a little slamming on it last I read.
Yeah, I don't know if numbers are out yet on that specifically, like how well the initial sales period was. I guess we're in a new month now though, so you'd think there might have been some like, hey, how did launch week go kind of thing.
Didn't it? Oh yeah, it would have been on like the tail end. Yeah, like on Metacritic right now, the PS4 version is at 69, so that's not necessarily a bad score, but not necessarily a good score.
I guess I did see that it wasn't beloved by any stretch, so that wasn't surprising. But I guess also, like, after a game ships, that typically happens, right? Don't teams kind of trim down a bit again? Like, that didn't seem like a huge number. 27 is, those people, that's people, but that didn't strike me as like, oh, they're on fire, like, this is over. It was just kind of, that's not, ideal. How do we feel about it? This sadly happens a lot.
Yeah, it's the curse of AAA game development. Is that you make games with too much money poured into them and get too little return.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a situation like Thief, they at least have a completed thing on their resume that they can show off elsewhere. Like, it's just like, hey, yeah, I know Thief didn't, but check out this lighting. Like, that was me. And they're just like, oh, crap, and then, hire that guy. Who knows? Maybe that can happen. I don't know. I don't have any, like, deep insight. It's kind of sad, but this industry seems to be just full of all sorts of crazy stuff going on. It hasn't shaken out to the point where there's like a big studio set up like Hollywood, where it's just like, oh yeah, there's the big five and they have all the stuff, and then there's subdivisions. It's just like, no, it's just chaos. There's all sorts of craziness going on. I mean, you have Activision, they're pretty stable, but they also kind of do one or two things that they do. Actually, yeah, I read this cool story about the Singularity development cycle. I don't know if you remember that game?
Yeah, Raven Software.
Yeah, it was kind of weird reading it. It was like, apparently that game, like, you know, the big thing after that game came out was like people were like, oh man, that, you know, Activision didn't promote it, like they just kind of threw it under the bus or whatever. The reason behind that is like that game was like on fire 10 months before it came out. Like it was like not even going to be a thing. They basically had like one chance left. This guy Keith Fuller wrote a piece about it over on Polygon, and it was kind of a cool read. As someone who really liked that game, like that was on my top 10 that year, and it was kind of like they basically just had to like cut out whole sections of that game and just be like, we realistically can't do this the way we want to. Like we're just gonna borrow the audio log system from BioShock and put it in there because we have no other way to tell the story the way we wanted to. And like they just like all these decisions, like just to see how it was like we have one shot left. We can't ship this unless we just cut out this and just make it work. So they kind of ended up with this kind of derivative, kind of janky game, but it was kind of awesome in a way. Like it was kind of a neat read to see like a AAA game like come together in the last moments just before it crosses the finish line. And I don't know, it's a cool thing. So yeah, not really a news story though. I couldn't bring it up without email questions. So thank you for bringing up crazy. You know, Raven got downsized a lot too after that. That's how I tied it in. Anyway, Link Mario. Do you want to field this question?
Yeah.
It's got two.
I heard the news about Jack Tretton. Yep, we covered it in the news.
Oh yeah.
The second one is a little bit more interesting and in-depth. Might even relate to this.
Yeah, I didn't know this part.
Have you guys heard of Sony forecasting a 1.1 billion loss at the end of this fiscal year, March 31st?
Which is also the last day he's there. Which
now that's Sony across all brands, right? That's not just SCEA.
Right. Which that might be kind of their TVs aren't selling the way they used to or something, you know, like that. There's other things at play there.
From what memory serves me, usually the PlayStation brand is what brings in the money, or at least is one of the few parts of Sony that keeps in the black consistently, except for like the first year of console launches. So this is probably not the best financial year for Sony right now, like in the games division.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a Wall Street Journal summary of that kind of thing. And Cass Rise featured prominently. There's a nice drawing of him. But yeah, no, 1.1 billion loss. Japanese tech giant to make TV business a separate subsidiary. Okay. It's coming out of Tokyo. Anyway, yeah, you know, you're right. I think the video game division, which is what Jack was in charge of, was one of the pistons popping, you know, one of the parts of the whole thing doing really well. So, yeah, I don't know. That's probably just a coincidence. It's got to be. It's not, you know, not pinning anything on Jack. It's not his fault. His division did good. But yeah, I don't know. Cool though. I didn't hear that part. So it's not all sunflowers and roses. That's not a phrase.
Sunflower? You mean sunshine and rainbows?
No, sunflowers and roses for Sony. What's wrong with sunflowers? Vince Van Gogh. Thanks for questions. Again, TDP Podcast on Twitter, Top Down Perspective Group on Facebook, and the email. And yeah, review us on iTunes. I'm gonna keep saying it, and we will be on that leaderboard, and it'll be awesome. So, yeah, I guess once we figure it out, we need to figure out though that name for all the fans, so they have a banner to rally behind. Like that's a key part of this whole thing. So
is it really? Is it really?
I think so. Yeah, I was seeing like overhead viewers in the chat, but that's a little weird, or just the watchers. But I don't know about that either. But yeah, hey. Oh wait, no, sorry. There was one more question in the chat that I saw earlier. It was kind of just about big stuff. Hey, are you looking forward to the new video game movies coming out? Assassin's Creed, Ratchet and Clank, Need for Speed. That is like imminent. Sonic, the Sonic TV show, and other stuff. Like, how do you feel about the new slate of video game movie adaptations?
Need for Speed can kind of get away on the fact that it's probably just going to be Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
I'm
that'll be good popcorn flick.
I kind of want to watch it. Like, I'm kind of curious enough. I mean, I know I was there day one for the Prince of Persia movie. Like, my curiosity gets me every now and then. So, Need for Speed, I'll probably be there to see how that turned out. I don't know. I'm kind of curious, like, what the tone is going to be, because like the trailers have been really serious, and that seems to me like, is this going to end up in ironic, funny territory, kind of like the Most Wanted cutscenes, or is it just going to be kind of not fun, or I don't know.
I'd be totally down for it being like ironic, funny, like the original Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Yeah, Sergeant
That
Cross.
would be kind of sweet.
Maybe he'll be a character. So yeah, the Assassin's Creed movie, I don't even know if that's continuing to roll forward. Like, I know Michael Fassbender was involved at some point, and there was a lot of talk about it, but that dude has kind of maybe risen a bit in terms of his star power, so I don't know if he would still do that, but that's just kind of idle guessing. I don't know. And that franchise, I mean, 4, I guess, still, stoked up some fires again, so I was going to say it was kind of flagging, and now Watch Dogs is the new thing, but I guess Assassin's Creed is still a pretty popular brand, so maybe. Video game movies. There's some classics I haven't seen. Like, did you see the Double Dragon movie?
Mm-hmm. I saw that when I was a kid.
Is that worth an ironic watch? Robert Patrick's hair.
If you want to watch bad movies, yeah, go ahead.
I kind of like some bad movies every now and then. So, yeah. Mortal Kombat, we have both of them on the shelf.
The first Mortal Kombat movie, legit good. I still like that movie.
Yeah, but I've heard the second one is
Armageddon
so bad.
is terrible. Oh my god, it's so bad.
See, like, people seem to have stronger feelings about it. That's kind of the thing. It's like, the first one's an okay movie. The second one is an abomination. And it's just like, ooh, really? I kind of want to check that out. Like, that sounds horrifying. So, anyway. Oh, yeah, also that Console War movie we talked about last week. I'm curious about that book. Like, that's coming out somewhat soon-ish. So, we'll see what that's about. But anyway, that's it for questions. Thanks again for sending those in via all those means I mentioned before. Overhead viewers is now a hashtag anyway.
People are trying to push it.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Games of the week. I can't speak for Sean. I don't know. I guess probably Walking Dead based on this little write-up. It sounds like he's frustrated with the final boss of Bravely Default and really liked Walking Dead Episode 2, so probably. But what is your game of the week, John?
Both games I'm at a point where the game's gotten super grindy, so I don't know which I'm going to pick. I'll probably say Payday at this point.
Okay, just going back to the game of the year from last year, even though they kind of tinkered with it.
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, like, there's promise of more changes in the future, so maybe it'll be for the better, maybe it'll be for the worse.
Okay.
I'm working towards that level 100 and then going Infamous.
Ooh, yeah. You haven't even done that, right? Rolling over, getting your prestige
I'm
on.
at 91, I think, right now for levels. I'm close.
How many hours played are you at?
Too many.
Okay, I'm gonna check after and find out.
All right.
For me, I'm gonna have to, like, even though I was kind of liking what I saw of the room to some extent, Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, like, those final revelations were so cool. And yeah, I was just like, this is just quality science fiction right here. Like, this is good stuff. So I'm gonna say that it totally pulled off some cool stuff. So that game is awesome. And if people buy it, then they'll make another one, and that's good. So yeah, I feel kind of, again, a little dirty with the plus getting it, but that's kind of the thing.
It's a way to get the name out of the game, so.
Yeah, Zero Escape, people go check that out. That is what adventure games should be if I'm going to keep playing them. That's not, whatever. Thanks for joining us again, Top Down Perspective. Sorry that the camera wasn't doing the thing it's supposed to, but for those audio listeners, that doesn't even matter. So sorry for talking about it so much.
So really, we're just sorry for this podcast is really what we're saying.
I don't know, I felt okay about it. But Sean will be back next week to make sure this kind of jankiness doesn't happen again. Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Cool. See you guys then.
Bye.